Wherapy. Therapy wherever, whenever.
Welcome back. The second life problem that we have in our 30s is all about becoming a parent. This is the period of our lives where most people become parents. Some people become parents at an earlier stage, some people become parents at a later stage, but most people become a parent sometime in their 30s. And the first thing that happens when we become a parent on a psychological level is that we discover, we learn a lot more about our own parents and who they were and the trials and tribulations that they faced when they were raising us at our most vulnerable time, when we were small infants. Now that we're raising an infant, and depending on what kind of relationship you have with your parents, and if they're alive or not, or if you are incapable of meeting them, or so on and so forth, this can lead to like a feeling of great sadness, and as your children grow older and challenge you more, you'll realize that you were just like the child and you were treating your father or mother in that way, and that makes you feel guilty, and it also makes you feel a bit sad that kind of when you experience that you are in a state of maybe not knowing what to do, feeling lost in parenthood, and you know that, well, yeah, my dad or my mother, who maybe doesn't exist anymore, or I'm not talking to, or who I'm talking to, and have a good relationship with, they were going through the exact same thing as me. They were the ones who were feeling lost and overwhelmed, and were feeling like they were the worst person in the world when they happened to break down in front of their child, after their child had been nagging them constantly. So we feel a stronger connection to our parents because we suddenly understand what they were going through when they were raising us, and that might lead to a lot of feelings of guilt towards our parents, or guilt and sympathy, and these are heavy feelings, even though sympathy is a good feeling, or it has a good purpose. And we obviously compare ourselves to how our parents did, and whenever we compare ourselves to someone else, we always fall into the trap of making ourselves a little bit worse than what we really are. And this leads to us kind of hating on ourselves, saying that, well, how could my mom or dad do this, be capable of being a good parent when I'm not? Why am I making all these mistakes? And as I mentioned in the earlier point, family limits our capability of achieving self-actualization, of pursuing our dreams, of pursuing our interests outside of work. And this is something that is very important to most people, because it pertains to our own identity, our own thoughts of ourselves. So we end up feeling like less of an individual when we are in a family, and that can create some animosity as well. I have no time for myself. I can't just go out and do something. I can't go back to school because I have a 2-year-old that I have to take care of, or my 3-year-old or 7-year-old or whatever the age they are won't give me any time to read a book, or won't give me any time to go out stargazing or whatever we want. Yeah. So we feel like our children own us, and for a period of time they do, but we become a little bit bitter, and we have a little bit of animosity towards them because of it. Yeah. And we also, especially when our children are so young, we feel so alone with our child. Yeah. And this might probably pertains more to women than men, depending on which country you live in. But parental leave, usually it's the mother that stays home the longest, and they feel overwhelmed with with raising the child, making sure that they eat, making sure that they drink properly, and that they're feeling good and that they're happy. And the child can't really speak at this age, obviously, when they're quite young, and we don't know what's wrong with them, and we have to kind of fix it. And there we're standing all alone with this baby. Our husband is at the office, our parents are maybe living an hour or two away, and we just don't know what to do. We feel like we're all alone, and we're responsible for a life. Yeah. And that's quite overwhelming. Yeah. And we feel helpless in this. Yeah. And this, we feel like we're not good enough, and this leads to us being panic stricken. I don't know what to do, and that can make a lot of mothers a little bit hysterical at that time. Yeah. And then their husbands come home, and they say something, and the mother, the wife, reacts in a way that the husband might feel like an overreaction, but they're just actually bearing the brunt of, or feeling like overwhelmed from the day's events, and all of this leads to a sense of bitterness, which I will go into more in the next section. So stay tuned.